You're about to see James O'Brien rip Trump supporters apart live on air. Watch as their weak arguments collapse in seconds. And if you love seeing that kind of takedown, hit subscribe, because I'll be breaking it all down for you.
I want to say I'm actually a fan of Trump, and I think there's a lot of stuff in the media which are lies.
Go on.
I don't know yourself, you're obviously anti-Trump.
No, go on. What are the lies that you're unhappy about?
Well, no, I just think you even said this morning, you said it's okay for him, what is it, the quote you used, it's okay to be racist again?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you draw that conclusion?
He accused Barack Obama of not having been born in America and lying about his birth certificate.
So how's that racist?
Birtherism is racist because Barack Obama is... Well, you can't... I mean, you can talk over me if you want, Stephen, but okay, no, you crack on. There have been previous
presidents that have actually been white that have also not been accused of being born in America. So was that also racist?
No, of course it wouldn't be racist. Who was that, by the way?
I think a president from 1880. It goes back over
No, come on. You're on national radio. You've got your ducks in a row. Tell me about the last time an American president was accused of not being born in America.
I've forgotten the names. But
don't be silly. Don't tease me. Of course you haven't forgotten the name. You wouldn't come on the radio and say something and then immediately fall apart in response to the first question you're asked.
It's not falling apart.
Okay, so let's go back to the lies that have been told about Donald Trump. Which one would you reach for first?
Well, the one that you just said it's okay for the racist to come out.
Well, we've just demonstrated he's very popular with racists, Stephen. I think we can all agree on that.
Well, he's not popular with racists.
So it wasn't white nationalists that invaded the Capitol last week, then. Steve Bannon, his key advisor during the presidential campaign, who's now been pardoned for ripping off Trump supporters, he didn't say you should wear the accusation of racism like a badge of honour.
Well, that's his quote. I mean, if that's what he's saying. But the fact that you can't just say then that everyone that marched on the Capitol is racist.
I didn't. I said they were white nationalists.
Well, you're also portraying that.
So let's go back to the lies, Stephen. Let's go back to the lies that the mainstream media in America has told about Donald Trump.
Well, I've just told you the fact that he's racist.
But we've just proved that he is.
But because he's questioned someone's birth certificate, that makes him racist.
No, because he questioned a black man's birth certificate, knowing that it was absolutely untrue. So that would be called a racist lie, which is encouraged to make people who are uncomfortable with Barack Obama's skin colour believe something that's not true about him, because it then undermines the legitimacy of his presidency. So briefly, because it's not going great, but I'd like you to stick around for a little bit longer. What is it you liked about him, Stephen?
I think that he come out and spoke a lot of the truth on stuff.
Yeah, what stuff? Stephen's hung up.
What a clown. He can't even back up a single point he's made throughout the interview. And when the going gets tough, the only thing he can do is hang up the call. Why do people call national radio when they literally have no clue how to defend their point? This next one is more of the same. Let's take a look.
Morning, James. Cards on the table, Brexit here, loving Trump's work. And
what's your favourite bit?
Well, all of it, but I think what
your favourite bit. What's the thing he's done that you love the most?
You said you bumped into Boris yourself.
Go on, mate. I just asked you a question. You said cards on the table. You said cards on the table, but you're not letting me look at your cards. That's an odd way of playing.
Because I want to just cut to the chase. Boris.
No, cards on the table. What's the thing Trump's done that you love the most?
Because he is a man of his word.
What's he done that you love the most?
Pardon?
What's he done that you love the most? You said, I'm loving his work. So what's the act of...
Because he's a politician who tends to, unlike here, do what he says.
Yeah, so what's he done? What's the thing he's done? What's the act of work he's done?
Not in tune with the American politics.
Cards on the table, I love his work. Give me one example of the work that you love. Over to you, Alex.
Balls of steel. Okay.
No, you're going to have to answer it before we carry on, because it's cards on the table, Alex. That's your own words, mate.
Because he's very much like Boris. He's a cad, he's a rogue, he's always...
No, but we know all that. You said you love his work. You said cards on the table, I love his work. So show me one card. They're on the table, Alex.
What I'm trying to say to you is he's a politician, but he's not the normal politician.
Cards on the table, Alex. Just show me one of those cards that you said in that really upbeat way. Cards on the table, James. I love his work. So show me one card.
James.
One card.
James.
One card.
Some people voted it, others didn't. And
One card, Alex.
Carry on.
One card.
I'm not with you, James.
One card.
But I'm not with you, James. I'm trying just to.
I love his work. Cards on the table. Give me one example of the work that you love.
So much work because James.
So much work. So much work. It'll be really easy to give me one example.
No. Everybody in London voted for him, remember?
Nobody in London voted for Donald Trump. Give me one example of the work he's done that you love, Alex.
People voted for Boris, remember?
Cards on the table, Alex. Cards on the table, Alex. Show me a card.
I'm just not that in tune with American politics to give you a definite answer, but I'm trying to say to you,
Right,
Boris,
so when you said cards on the table, what you meant was, I don't even know whether I'm playing Snap or poker.
No, I'm trying to say to you, Boris, you have to embrace what he is, and people voted for him right or wrong. He is a bit of a clown. He's everything you said he is. And I think he orchestrated this leakage. I think a friend of that recorded that. It was all done on purpose and construed to make a lot of media interest and chaos talking about Boris. And remember, when he went on the Marr show talking about Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe, he inadvertently spilled the beans of his MI6, MI5 briefings straight out to Marr.
No, he didn't know now. So, you see, not only have you made a complete cretin of yourself, you've also just libelled the Foreign Secretary.
Why not? Everyone else does.
No, mate. You see, cards on the table, Alex. You're a clown.
He starts the call so boldly by declaring all his cards are on the table, but can't reveal what a single card says. I think we're starting to notice a bit of a pattern with these callers, aren't we? He can't name the thing that Trump's done that he likes. He just likes him because he says it how it is, which granted is refreshing for a politician these days, but it's a pretty weak argument if that's the only positive thing you can say. Next, we go to a caller from across the pond with some completely baseless claims.
This is the atmosphere that Donald Trump has come into. The average Americans don't vote because they're just disenchanted with the entire thing. They think they're all crooks. It doesn't matter. And for people to scoff and say, oh, well, there's no proof of that. Oh, it can't be true.
Yes.
I'm sorry, man. I just think that's a little bit naive. Yeah, I mean,
so you're talking about an environment of because Trump is the crook that they thought all politicians were, but he comes.
But the thing is he's an honest crook, mate. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's not hiding it. You know, you say that, oh, Biden sounded like a statesman. Like, that's a good thing.
Yes.
It's not.
Right.
It's somebody who spent their life being a polished liar, taking corporate agenda and pushing it through.
Are you describing what
these are not good things.
Are you describing what you think now, or what you think they
Yes,
think?
this is what I believe, and this is what I've spoken to many of my friends back in America. We talk about these things, you know, and you've got the whole media juggernaut as well.
If I asked you to persuade me that Joe Biden was a polished liar, what would you do?
I just pointed his 50-year career.
Yeah, well, go on.
How else could he possibly stay in power? I mean, this is the whole
that's
thing
a
about
question.
Trump,
That's a question, not an answer.
From outside.
No, I know, but I just want you to.
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't have any facts because I didn't know anything about Joe Biden before I heard his name as the elected.
But you're absolutely certain that he spent half a century lying.
If he's a politician, he's been in the job for that long. I don't see how he could avoid it.
But you just said you'd never heard of him before last year.
I don't need to hear.
He was vice president.
This is what I think of average American.
Shouting louder doesn't make any more sense because he was vice president for 8 years.
Right. Again, I'd never heard of him.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of him.
I mean, is it fair to suggest that you may not be the best qualified commentator on American politics?
I'm just trying to give you a look into.
And I am. You've given me a very interesting look, Jim.
I'm the average person as well.
You may be, but you've admitted you know absolutely nothing, but you're certain of your prejudices.
I'm certain that this is the way that it's going to be looked at by the people like Trump's followers.
No, that's why I said to you, are you telling me what you think, or are you telling me what you think they think?
I'm telling you what I think. I'm telling
and
you
you think that Joe Biden
between my friends that I've spoken to about the subject.
I understand that. I mean, I find it horrible what you're describing, but I don't think you're lying. I think you're being honest. So you can look at Donald Trump and see what you described as an honest crook, and there is all the evidence of his wrongdoing that goes back 50 years, and you know, we could make a list. We'd be here until Christmas.
Yep, the man's got immense character flaws.
Not character flaws. Criminality.
I do not think he's he's a good person.
But then you've got Joe Biden over there, and you've got no evidence whatsoever of his malfeasance or misbehaviour, but you're absolutely convinced he's a wrong 'un. So would you mind if I...
Again, I would refer back to the Panorama program that I saw, which appalled me.
Yes, but was he in it?
People, a news crew can go over, pretend to be a lobbyist.
But was
and
Joe
push
Biden in? Was Joe Biden in it?
No.
So
he was not in it.
I've got two questions. Do you recognise on any level how ridiculous you sound? And I say that affectionately.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I suppose so. So now.
And the second question is who did this to you? Where do you think this came from? Because you weren't born like this. At some point in the last 50 years, you've become a man who's absolutely convinced of things despite having no evidence for it whatsoever. How do you think that happened?
Because I have been pulled over, and I have had police in America rewrite the arrest report, and I have had basically lies told in court about me, and I have had trouble in America.
And that's how you know that Joe Biden is not to be trusted.
This is my personal experience with the establishment.
Oh, what?
Okay?
Being pulled over by police in America.
That's right.
Okay. Well, it's been interesting talking to you, Jim.
I had a can of beer that was unopened.
There's more.
Unopened in my car.
Yes.
And they wrote it up as an open container. And I ended up with a DUI.
And that's how you know that Joe Biden is corrupt.
That's honestly hilarious. Imagine being so certain that Joe Biden is a liar, yet admitting you didn't even know who he was until after he became president. You couldn't script that level of contradiction if you tried. And then, to make it even more absurd, he brushes off Trump's long record of corruption by calling it character flaws. That's not a flaw, that's a rap sheet. Trying to downplay criminality as just personality quirks is like calling bank robbery a bad habit. What really makes this caller's logic collapse, though, is the stretch he takes to connect his personal run-ins with police to Biden supposedly being dishonest. One has nothing to do with the other. It's like saying you're bad. Experience at a restaurant proves the chef down the street is corrupt. The leap just doesn't make sense. But this is the pattern we keep seeing. Loud opinions, shaky reasoning, and zero connection between the claim and the evidence. And honestly, it's a theme across almost every caller. They charge in with bold statements, but the second James O'Brien pushes back with a basic question, they fold. Some get defensive, others get aggressive, and a few just slam the phone down when it gets too real. It's like they've spent years repeating talking points, but have never once been forced to defend them. That's why these clips are so fascinating to watch. They don't just reveal weak arguments, they show how people can build entire worldviews on nothing more than assumptions and slogans. And once that's challenged, the whole thing unravels in seconds. So tell me, who do you think was the absolute worst caller? Drop your take in the comments because I'm genuinely curious to see what you all think.